My narcissistic sister can't handle that her daughter loves me more than her. The nickname BZ started as a joke when my 7-year-old niece Jordan was just a mischievous baby. Aren't you just a little Beelzebub? I'd tease when she was being particularly goofy, and when she started talking, she'd repeat it back as BZ. For years, nobody in our family had any problem with it. Not her parents, not her teachers, not her classmates. But suddenly, at a family picnic, my sister exploded when I called her daughter by the name she'd used her entire life. Stop calling her that ridiculous name, my sister screamed across the party, loud enough that everyone turned to stare. You're calling her the devil and all the other kids make fun of her for it. Jordan immediately protested that she didn't want to be called Jordan, that she hated her real name, but my sister was having none of it. The awkward silence that followed told me this wasn't really about the nickname at all. This was about control and jealousy that had been building for years. My sister Rebecca had always been a narcissist, someone who'd had Jordan primarily to snag her passive husband and get attention for herself. While she wasn't abusive, she was emotionally distant and often bored by parenting duties, leaving Jordan to seek affection and attention from other family members. I'd become particularly close to Jordan because I did things her parents rarely did, reading to her, letting her play with makeup, taking genuine interest in her thoughts and feelings. The timing of Rebecca's outburst was suspicious, especially since she'd known what Beelzebub meant for years without complaint. I work at Jordan's school and knew for certain that no one was making fun of her name. She was popular, well-liked, and everyone from teachers to students had called her BZ for 2 years without issue. Rebecca's sudden religious objections also rang hollow, considering she was what I called conveniently religious, mentioning God only when she wanted to shame someone. After the confrontation, I decided to respect Rebecca's wishes and told Jordan we needed to use her real name. But Jordan was devastated, explaining that BZ was magical and special to her, like fairies, and that without it she wouldn't be special anymore. My heart broke listening to her, but I found a solution by playing songs that mentioned the River Jordan, helping her find the magic in her birth name through the spirituals she loved. That's when the real issue revealed itself. Jordan excitedly told her mother about the songs and how special her name was because of them, and Rebecca completely lost it again. She likes the name now because of those black people songs. I fucking hate that music, she screamed at me. The mask had finally slipped completely, revealing that this was never about nicknames or religion. This was about Rebecca's racism and her desperate attempts to erase her daughter's black heritage. Jordan's father is black, and his family had been teaching her about her culture through spirituals, stories, and traditions that Rebecca actively fought against. When Jordan expressed interest in getting her hair done in cornrows like her beautiful aunt, Rebecca shut it down by calling the style hideous. When Jordan sang the spirituals she learned from her father's family, Rebecca banned that type of music from their house. She wanted a white daughter, not a biracial one who embraced both sides of her heritage. The hypocrisy was staggering. Rebecca would use me for constant babysitting while simultaneously trying to control every aspect of my relationship with Jordan. She'd call her daughter BZ herself throughout our entire conversation about banning the nickname, apparently not even aware of her own contradictions. When I asked what I should call Jordan if not her nickname or her real name, Rebecca stared at me blankly before snapping, "Just call her whatever you want then." A year later, the pattern repeated when Jordan drew a school picture of her two favorite people, me and her aunt from her father's side. Rebecca was furious that her daughter hadn't chosen her parents, completely missing the fact that she'd spent years being emotionally unavailable while expecting unconditional devotion in return. The drawing revealed what everyone already knew, that Jordan sought love and attention from the adults who actually provided it. "She loves you and the other aunt more than her own parents," Rebecca accused, as if this was somehow our fault, rather than the natural consequence of her own parenting choices. She threatened to limit Jordan's time with us, the same weapon she always used when she felt like she was losing control of the narrative, but she couldn't follow through because she needed our free childcare too much to cut us off completely. Living with a narcissistic parent teaches children to walk on eggshells, never knowing when the next explosion will come or what innocent action will trigger it. Jordan had learned to seek affection from safe adults while carefully managing her mother's volatile emotions, a survival skill no 7-year-old should need to develop. The most heartbreaking part was watching Jordan try to navigate her mother's racism while celebrating her own identity. She loved the spirituals her father taught her, admired black women's hairstyles, and connected with her heritage in ways that should have been encouraged rather than shamed. Instead, she was learning that parts of herself were unacceptable to the woman who was supposed to love her unconditionally. Rebecca's fights were never really about nicknames or school projects or hairstyles. They were about maintaining control over a daughter who was becoming her own person. Every tantrum was an attempt to reassert dominance when she felt her authority being questioned. Every restriction was designed to keep Jordan dependent and compliant. Some parents see their children as extensions of themselves, rather than separate individuals with their own needs and preferences. Rebecca wanted a daughter who would reflect her own choices and values, not a biracial girl who loved spirituals and connected with her father's culture. The nickname BZ had become a symbol of everything she couldn't control: Jordan's independence, her relationships with other adults, and her embrace of an identity that didn't center Rebecca's comfort. I made a silent promise to myself that day. When Jordan turns 18, she'll have a place to live where she can be exactly who she is, cornrows and spirituals and all. Sometimes the most loving thing an aunt can do is provide a safe harbor for the storm, even if that means weathering her sister's narcissistic rage for years to come.